Okay, today's topic, how to manifest what you want in life. We're going to cover this with a real world, real life, living example of filmmaking.
How is it we can do some amazing and sometimes unexplainable things, like heal our own bodies by the power of our thoughts? Mother's intuition, the law of attraction. Can we really tap into our subconscious mind? Can we really create our own realities? It begs the question, are we novice gods?
Alright, hey, thanks for joining me for another episode. Super excited to share this one with you today. Today we're going to talk about how to manifest what you really want in life. Awesome stuff. Okay, now I want to give you a real world, real life example. You know, because maybe you think, visualizing is kind of hokey, and am I just pretending, and do thoughts really become things, and you know, you may have a bunch of concerns on this. Well, I want to share with you how you really create, how, you know, I have a hard time with the word manifesting, but in one of the terms that I've heard that I kind of like, but doesn't quite work with me, is conscious creation. So how can you consciously create what you want in life? Now, the reason I have a little problem with it is because we often unconsciously create things we don't want in life. And you know, we talk about that in this series, and I'm trying to figure out how to, you know, how to clear that up so that I can get rid of that in my life, and so hopefully you can too. But today we're going to talk about how to manifest, how to consciously create what you want in life, and we're going to use the example of filmmaking. So the story is we are creating today a series of commercials for a client, a hospital client. And they're really fun, and I'm excited to tell you kind of the process of it. And hopefully, if today is not too crazy, you can tune in along the way, and I'll share with you some of the steps. But first of all, it started out with an idea. It started out with a desire, a thought. And that's what happens with the things that we want to create in life too. We can consciously create something by, first of all, really getting clear on what you want. So often we don't do this. You know, we say, oh, I want $1 million, or, you know, I want something. But we're not really clear on what it is that we actually want. What do we want to create? What do we want to manifest? And for this client, they had a need to communicate that they have expanded the hospital and that they've got these great new services. So they hired me to screenwrite for them, and it started out with me thinking, okay, what do we really want to communicate? What is the message that needs to come across? And this whole thing that we're doing today, you know, we talk about thoughts become things. This whole thing started out because I had an idea, a seed of a thought, and I let that thought grow and nurture, and then I wrote it down. That became the script. And then the next process is, then we shared it with the client. They bought off on it. We hired a crew. I started sharing the idea with them. That can be considered like if you use mastermind principles to have other people involved. And anyway, and then we'll go through all the steps with you. But that's kind of the steps of creating a film. It started with a thought in one guy's head. And then by the end of today, we will have all the elements necessary to put this series of commercials together. I will, in the show notes, have a link to my portfolio. It'll be a few weeks before the commercial's live and released, but that's where it'll be released. So if you're watching this like right when I post it, it'll take a little while. Otherwise, it'll be down there. And it'll be a series called, what is the series called? I just had a blank. Oh, We Hope You Don't Need Us. But anyway, it's great stuff. So tune in with me today, and we'll talk about how to consciously create what you want in life. Okay, so I'm just loading up the truck with the gear for today's shoot. Super excited for it. This is going to be awesome. So the first steps in consciously creating what you want, the first one is to get super clear on what you want and to write it down. Now, how many of us anyway, actually, if you think about films, and films are a perfect example to talk about how to consciously create in your life, because films don't happen by accident, right? I mean, they are deliberate, conscious creations. And yes, they started with an idea. They started with a thought that came in one person's head. And that person was smart enough to write it down and to script it. So if you want to consciously create things in your life, write it down. Then be super deliberate about what it is you would like to manifest in your life. So again, think about filmmaking. Today we're going to film a few really fun commercials, a few little stories that I think are going to be fantastic. But they started out with a thought, and that thought was written in a script, and then that script was passed around, and everyone else along the way visualized it. So think about your life. Think about what you want to create in your day. Do you consciously create each day? You know, do you spend time each morning writing things down, visualizing what you would like to manifest, visualizing how you'd like your life to be? If you're not doing that, you're missing out on a great opportunity to really create abundance in your life. If you're interested, look in the show notes below. I have a free planner that helps guide you through that. You can get that. But anyway, today, just loading up the truck, getting ready to go and do this shoot. And I'll be able to show you some more things along the way. But the very first step on consciously creating the things that you want in your life is to get super clear and to write it down. Okay, just getting set up for the shoot. It is going to be fantastic. I am super excited for how well this is coming together. I wanted to mention one more thing about writing it down, about being very specific about what you want to create in your life. Again, we're looking at how we do this in the film world. Now, it's not just a haphazard kind of thing. It's not just I'd like, whatever. For me, I'm manifesting a couple of dirt bikes. That's the thing that I want for me and my son. And so I'm very specific about what I want. For this film, we script it out. We write down exactly what goes on, what the scene looks like, what the light looks like, what the characters say. We're very specific about that. Now that is the script. The next thing that you do is you go to we create a shot list. So we get really specific about angles and about duration and again about lighting and the equipment and just break everything down. You can do this with your life and the things that you want to manifest. Get super specific. Figure out exactly what you want, and as you do that, it'll help you actually create and manifest. Okay, now the next step is to make your request. Ask the universe. Now for me, it's asking God. This is what I want to create in my life. And I know exactly what I want, and I petitioned him. But also, when you're doing this, you can ask the universe. Now, the universe is this collection of intelligence that's around. It's the system that God has set up, and that's kind of how the things that you want to create and manifest in your life, that's how it actually comes about. So you make your request to the universe. For me, in the filmmaking world, for this came to me presenting the script to the client, talking them through it, explaining how it's going to work, explaining how it's going to help them out. And anyway, you sell the script through, and then you get to move on to the next step. And the next step is to work as if. And this is kind of where, if you watch the movie The Secret, where it talks a lot about manifesting, this is where they may have done a little bit of a disservice to explaining how it all works, because they make it seem like you just wish something happens, you just hope for something, and they missed the working part. And you actually have to work. Now with this show that we're doing, I had to sell. We had problems with the scheduling. It got delayed. We were supposed to film this in June, and here we are, the end of October, actually filming it. But I had to work as if it's going to happen. I had to believe it was going to happen. I had to have faith. I had to gather up the materials. I had to get the locations, do the casting, all that stuff to work as though it were actually going to happen. Again, you can take these principles into your life, and as you're working to visualize, as you're working to manifest, think about what you really want to create, and then act as if it's going to happen. So, step number 3, work as if. Okay, the shoot is going really well. We're way behind schedule though. We're about an hour behind schedule, and I think we're going to make up some time. But I wanted to let you know the next step in the process is to actually trust the process. Now, and I can just tell you from the experience of what we are creating today, this is it's a series of commercials.
really fun spots. It's for a community hospital, and they wanted me to use community members to make it feel, you know, like part of the valley. And so one of the actors, you know, everyone's a volunteer that's in, you know, on camera. One of the actors is this cowboy, and I had him recommended to me, but I had not met him before. I was out in Atlanta on another shoot actually when I cast him, and I cast him just over the phone. Anyway, amazing guy, perfectly fit what needed to be in the shoot. I mean, I couldn't have gotten a better person. And I gotta tell you, you just trust the process. You can stress all you want over things, but if you trust the process and just believe things are gonna work out, if you've done your work, if you've visualized, if you've been very specific about what you want to create, and anyway, when you hope for things that are better than you expected, sometimes you get things that are better than you expected. So anyway, you're going to want to check out some of the clips. Really fun show that we're getting today.
You're rolling there? Okay, scene one, take one.
Okay, the last step to manifesting, to consciously creating, and that is to willingly receive. Now this, again, that kind of sounds a little silly because you think, oh, I'm happy to receive. I'm ready to receive abundance. But is that really true? Just kind of consider, how do you respond when somebody gives you a compliment? You know, do you push it off? Do you say, oh, you know, somebody compliments you on, you know, oh, that's a nice dress you've got today. And you go, oh, this old thing, you know, or you look fantastic today. Oh, really? I don't like my hair. Or, you know, they will say thank you to you, and instead of you, or give you a compliment, and instead of you accepting it, you will try and push that off to somebody else. Now I'm saying again, this by experience, this is something that I do all the time, and it's not a great way to receive. So if you want to create abundance, if you want to manifest, if you want to consciously create great things in your life, you have to be willing to receive. So anyway, that's the last step. I don't know if I'll get a chance to talk to you again. We're going off to the locations now. Got some great stuff planned, but because I'm the director on this, I kind of have to be totally focused on the whole thing. So I may be back with you, or I may not, but I hope that you will follow those steps. And if you're interested in how the commercials turned out, make sure you look in the show notes below, and I will have a link to my portfolio site, and you can, when it's all done, you can see it there. Anyway, great series. Okay, the shoot is going amazingly well. Just wanted to touch back, get back in touch with you, let you know how it's going. And I'm telling you, manifesting and visualizing things just totally works out. I worked out this morning with my mind and focused on what I wanted to have happen today. And this has worked out better than I had hoped for. I mean, it's just really good. Yeah, we got off to a little bit of a late start, but we caught up. The cowboy looks fantastic. We're now about to shoot the cowboy scene. I'll show you a few images of that. Just absolutely fantastic. I couldn't have gotten a better location.
This is first time.
Yep.
Well, I hope it's not his last. I better go get some ice.
We just filmed a scene with a grandma and her husband, and looked really good. So again, if you want to manifest things in your life, if you want to create, consciously create, deliberately create the kinds of things you want in your life, get active and follow those steps that I talked to you about to do this. You absolutely have the power to do it. So if you look at filmmaking as a way to craft and create something that just starts from your mind and turns into a real thing, like a film or a commercial, it's the same thing with our lives. Get deliberate. Focus on things. If you want to, you know, like, look in the show notes below. I have a planner, free. It's a purpose planner, and it will help you get deliberate about how you do your morning routine. Anyway, you can absolutely consciously create the kinds of things you want in your life, and take filmmaking as an example and then use those principles to deliberately, consciously create the kind of life you'd like to live. Are you looking to make the world a better place? Visit me at scottwilhite.com and sign up to become an Impact Insider. I'll keep you updated on the topics and ideas that may help you become your best, true, full self.